Exploring the civics screens. So if you hit L, L for government, L for laws, it will open up this settlements view. It defaults to the tab structure that shows all the different settlements and countries. So right here we have two different countries, Mountainous Continent and Nara. In this case, they each have child settlements. And then there are two other independent settlements. So there's kind of like the settlements tier. This is the countries tier because countries have towns. Federations have countries, towns, or homesteads. So here we can see the population of each town, country, in the lower right there. But let's go through all the different tabs as well. But first, on the left, we can select which government we want to be inquiring information about. Countries you can collapse. It's just relisting the same towns that we see over here. If I click one of these, it will actually change the highlight. But structure looks the same for everyone. But then constitution, legislation, population, and culture will be different for each one of these countries and towns. So in the Constitution tab, the first thing you set up when you're setting up a town is your Constitution. It determines what demographics can do which civic actions. So for ours, the mountain president can do any civic action immediately, and then any citizen can propose an election using this process. We have these elected titles. I'm three of them in this case. And then which election processes. So we have an anonymous election that lasts, 5 days because we're a long-term server. A short election process that lasts 2 days. And a non-anonymous election process. We should probably have two anonymous and two non-anonymous. Let's look at so each one of these also has a tooltip. The Constitution one's not too interesting. It just restates what's here. You can also hover over the titles and it'll show how you can run for that title, the eligibility, the term limits, the office holder's history. So there it would show who's been the president. In this case, I've been the only president, so it just says none here. If we look at lead researcher, it will show something different. So it shows Blue was elected once. So the legislation tab. So this will list all the laws. You can collapse them. And then it will show the elections as well. Right now, there's no elections going on. We got the population tab. It will list all the demographics that are set up on census bureaus. In this case, I've set up a bunch around nutrition. I think that condition comes from a mod, but so we have some about nutrition, new players, active new players, being weekly active or monthly active, and then another one that combines them weekly active and a citizen of the town. Forgot to mention the district maps here on the right. You could see all the district maps the jurisdiction has set up, and it's also nice because you can click on any of these and it will pop open the map with that district selected. And then kind of same thing on the left. You can click on one of these and see the actual conditions for each demographic. And then we have the culture tab. Depending on how much culture you have on your foundation, your influence area will grow. And then you can also have multiple culture sites other than your foundation, up to 9 for a country. So 9 plus your foundation is 10. In this case, we basically have it maxed out, but we don't have all the individual culture sites maxed out. If we go to Greenridge, kind of the capital of the country, we can see it can only have 3 different culture sites. Two others other than the Foundation. And since no countries are bordering Greenridge, it doesn't show anything for culture wars down here. But what's also interesting is you can check on someone else's ability to annex your town. So we can look at Nara's ability to annex Woodland Farms. Woodland Farms is in the mountain country. So we can see it's possible for Nara to annex it at any time. But we have an agreement not to annex each other's countries or each other's towns. And that was just a quick exploration of the settlements view. The government tab, the laws screen. I call it the laws screen because the hotkey is L. There's also each each jurisdiction, each government's tooltip. So anytime someone says, Cropopolis in chat, it will link this, and then you can kind of get a quick glance of the same sort of information you can get from the L screen. So the Constitution, the leader, the total culture, and the influence sources. Thanks for watching.